Peace, Abrahadabra. This is Chakra Zulu once again here to give a divine dissertation. Uh, like I said before, I'm exposing a whole bunch of misinformation that's been improperly fed to the people. Right now, I've been talking about the RBG community and how they support a bunch of cats based on misinformation. Like I said, I'm not here to jump down your throat or to talk bad about you or to denounce what you do. I just think that if you had the proper information and the proper edification, then you would make better choices in who you support and who you choose to let in your circle. This time, I want to talk about Martin Luther King, which is a touchy subject for a lot of people because, what he's been projected as being, as far as what he's done for black people and for the American people in general, all of that is a farce. I'd say this to his credit. Toward the end of his life, after Malcolm died, MLK started preaching some real nigga shit in terms of black people taking care of themselves as opposed to allowing themselves to be punching bags for the system, for the oppressor. But still in all, he's still a hypocrite. And I'm going to tie somebody else's name into it too. This motherfucking Bayard Rustin. Bayard Rustin is definitely an enemy to the people, and he was pulling MLK's puppet strings. They started up this little thing together, the SCLC, and basically what MLK did was, with all the money that he was getting through the SCLC, when he would go on tours and stuff around the country preaching what he was preaching, he was taking that money and he would get in these hotels and he would have these wild drunken orgies with black and white prostitutes. Now, you can't really call him a hypocrite for sleeping with white women because he was preaching unity between blacks and whites. So in terms of unity, having sex with white women, I guess you can't get no more unified than that. Now, as far as him being a reverend and him having a wife at home and whatever, that level of hypocrisy goes without saying. But the reason why the ancients and the ancestors let him meet the fate that he met when he got shot on that terrace that day was because that night before, having another wild drunken orgy, he was having sex with two prostitutes and beating the shit out of another one. So now you already lost me being a woman beater, number 1, 2, and 3. There's no way to justify that. Now you're gonna have a lot of so-called conscious cats that's gonna be like, oh, you need to back that up with proof. Oh, I need doctrine, brother. Oh, where you find that at? Where you this and that, whatever. Come on now. This is the computer age once again. You can find the info just like I found the info. What do I stand to gain from exposing this man when he's been long dead and gone or whatever? I'm just saying that he was an agent for the government, just like a lot of these so-called leaders who have been sent to the community to try to quell the people and try to keep the people from uprising. Because when Martin Luther King came and spoke up on behalf of Rosa Parks, that was at the same time when Emmett Till got murdered and black people were taking up arms at that point. And they sent him in to say, hey, let's not do it like this, yada, yada, yada. And that's a throwback from slavery, because in slavery, in order to keep black people in line with the Christian word, it was one thing to have a white man preaching it, but they know how we'll take to each other quicker than we will them. So they had to start getting black men who were well read and who were charming and who were engaging with the people to be able to keep people in line according to the word, and black people ate that up. You know why? Because in slavery, Sundays was the only day where you got a break from, you know, working in hostile conditions, working in unsavory conditions, you know, getting your ass beat, getting sodomized, and all that other stuff. That's why black people take to Sunday and take to church like they do, because throughout the generations, uh, as far as the Akashic records are concerned in our DNA, you know, we've been accustomed to looking forward to Sunday and giving it up in Jesus' name and all this other nonsense, because again, that was what kept the oppressor off of our ass. And you know, black people were so broken, the ones who weren't about uprising or running away, you know, they settle for that, because they settle for 6 days of getting their ass beaten, getting raped, and getting, you know, getting their booty holes tore out and all this other torture and stuff like that, dismemberment and whatnot. They'll deal with that 6 days out of the week if they could get one day off, you know. And you know, what kind of conditioning is that? You know what I'm saying? You know, and that all goes back to even Abraham Lincoln before the Civil War started, when they were talking about freeing up the slaves to keep the Union from seceding, and they were like, "Oh, well, do we have to worry about them doing to us what we did to them?" And they were like, "Nah, we've cut them off from all light, light meaning knowledge, you know." And you know, so we don't have to worry about that. They've been reduced to being a beast of the field, and so they'll settle for whatever. So, again, with MLK, you know, he was a world class hypocrite. They were like, "Oh, well, he took his mantra and his philosophies from Gandhi." But Gandhi, he was an agent too, who didn't too much care for black people, especially in this country or whatever. They both worked for J. Edgar Hoover, and J. Edgar Hoover offed his ass again once he started talking more like Malcolm, even though he was still carrying on with his proclivities and what have you. You know, the government, you know, they not having that. They not having that public outcry, because they don't want that landing on the wrong set of ears. You know, because even if MLK couldn't get the people to rise up, you know, he might influence somebody who could. So that's the deal about that. Like it or lump it, you know, these are the facts. And again, I'm just here to enlighten, you know, our community on, you know, why we shouldn't support these cats, especially, I mean, especially like with Black History Month. You know, why is it that we let these other motherfuckers dictate to us who should be our heroes? I mean, y'all don't find nothing wrong with that? You know, I mean, come on. They pump Martin all the time and hardly ever pump Malcolm or anybody else who was talking about, you know, fighting and willing to die for their rights, you know, all because they want some, you know, bullshit creature comforts, you know, that the oppressor has, figuring that, oh, well, the oppressor has the best of the best. He's not going to settle for less, so I want what he got. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You can make your own and thrive. You know, and I'm going to continue on that on another dissertation. But for now, I'm finna cut it short. Abrahadabra.